Am I live? Did everything work out okay? Okay, I think I'm live, folks. Just a little couple of setup issues while I was setting up. If you guys can't hear me or see me, oh well, at this point of the ball game. Anyway, um, I can see pretty much everything okay on my end. That doesn't mean I'm broadcasting. I'm a couple minutes early, so we're gonna have to do this whole charade we do every week where I come on and wait for somebody else to come on to confirm that I'm on. You know what? And so far, it looks like it's just me. But I will just continue to drone on and on and on, not saying much of anything really until we have a winner. Sean Innes is here. He says, "Hey." Lance Javen says, "Hey, a thrash baby is a week away." Birthday is a week away. I might have to lose these classes. Birthday is a week away. Happy birthday, prelated. Gary Carpenter's here. He said, "Season's greetings, Merry Christmas." Covering your bases there. Keith, he says, "Hooper ordered 12 beers. They sent 13. He asked why. And they said one was a Furby. One was a freaking, oh, a freebie. A Furby was an old toy, a freebie. Sort of a baker's dozen, only in this case, it's a brewer's dozen. Len says, "I'm buffering. Hopefully that'll stop." Dave is here, says hi. Sean is speaking in emojis. Looks like he's saying hello to everyone. Loving fellowship. Oh, Lisa's here. Says hello. Hi, everybody. And love people say, oh, by the way, Keith, I loved your idea about actually opening the chat early to viewers so everyone can just kind of come in and chit chat with one another before I get here. There's two things. I'm not crazy with the idea of letting people wait for me. That seems, I don't know. It's to me. I'm not gonna say it seems tacky, but it just seems like I hate keeping people waiting. So I would just feel compelled to come in early too. I would also feel compelled to read all those chat messages that I missed, and I have a tough enough time keeping up already. So while it's a great idea, and I'm not saying I'm not going to do it, I'm going to hold off until I think I can balance the equation, if that makes any sense. Gary Carpenter says there's talk about a $6 million man and by a woman movie and a Fall Guy movie. That would be amazing for both. Keith says simply hello all. I can't do this. Oh, sure you can. Sure you can. It's my reading that needs help, not your writing and arithmetic. But anyway, Keith, so glad you're here. And oh, Brogu is here as well. Hello, Brogu. Only 257 says hi, guys. Specifically, Gary, Sean, and Lens, but I'm sure it extends to all. To all. Only 257 is watching the news right now. Oh, I hope it's all good. And 257 says, "So boring. I hope you mean the news and not my show." No, I know what you mean. And it's gonna skip down. Yes, news is boring. Excellent. And Brogu says hi and a hi to you. Oh, Justin's here. He says, "Good evening. Any storms there?" It's just kind of been a cold, rainy, wet, miserable day. Not bad, not the bad storms they were talking about, but just rainy and miserable. And oh, by the way, it's going to be a genuine. You see, Keith, I can't talk. A general Q&A day today, but I thought the theme should be wrapping up 2023 because we only have a month left to do it. Get it? Wrapping like a Christmas present or putting the year all together in a package. A little wordplay there. But any 2023 topics you want to talk about, now's the time. Oh, and David says, "Hey, oh yeah, oh hey, Dave. So glad you could make it today." Zuplex is here and says, "Is it cold, T-Pawns?" No, it's it was in the 40s. Not terribly cold, but it's that damp, heavy, raw, wet weather. So it feels colder than it actually is. Oh, Lance brought up a good point. Where's Tracy at? Excellent point. Hopefully she'll make it soon. Brogu said, I see what you did there, Thrash. You like that? You like that? Thank you. Thank you so much. Dominic D is here. It says, hello, Bob. Hey, everyone. Dominic D, so great to see you. John Orchard is here, starting a channel in 24. Any advice? One thing that I gotta tell you, and Dave's the one who taught me this. Be consistent with it. Put out new material every week. If you want to do live chats, do a live chat every week. If you want to do posts, make sure you get something up every week. Try to do it the same day. People love consistency. I can't do that. I can't. So I kind of skip around, but be consistent with it because if you go a week or two without any new content, people will forget. That's the best advice I can give you. And let me know because I want to be your first, or at least in your top 5 subscribers. And welcome to the YouTube game. Tug is here and says, hey, hey, low all. I thought it was LOL. It's hey, low all. And hey to you too as well, by the way. Oh, he was doing research, by the way, for next week's chat on Westerns. And when he looked up Westerns, he got Good Burger too. I'm still laughing about that one. And Lance's birthday is next Sunday. So I'll have to mention it on the show. So it says, George Maharis died a while ago. You know, I just friended him on Facebook. I'm not making this about me, but it's so funny. I guess my mother, Mama Thrash, loved George Maharis. Had all these really cool fun facts about him. Been a fan of his, I think, since she was in high school. And like I said, I found him on Facebook. It's so funny. Rest in peace, Mr. Maharis. Tug says yes, a consistent schedule is everything. Thank you. Oh, Paul Blast is here. Nostalgic Paul Blast says, hey everyone. And Denny is here and he says, greetings from South Carolina. John says, thanks, you're quite welcome, my good friend. And only 257 says Good Burger 2 was a fun movie. Yes, but not much of a Western. And a lot of people saying hello to one another. Oh, Sean Ennis. Hey, Danny Broker. Oh, yep, just saying hello. Zublik says George Maharis once posed nude. I'll have to ask my mother. Maybe she knew that too. I don't know. And a lot of people saying happy birthday to Lance. Oh, Dominic D. Hey, Dominic D. What's going on? Was George Maharis on Route 66? I believe so. And Doug said, oh, Emily's here. Says, hey, y'all. Emily, hey to you as well, by the way. So great to see you, miss. Tug says, I'll email you a link to the next stream in the next few days. Lance and Thresh will celebrate your birthday together. We certainly will. We certainly will. Garrett Cameron says, Z. Oh, he did. So did Lyle. Yes, Lyle Wagner also did. Oh, BK on the air is here. It says, hey, big guy, happy December. To you too, by the way, Barry. So glad you could make it. Oh, and without even being asked, Danny is already dropping links to these other stations. Thank you so much. Danny, you're my wrench in the works, as it were. Azuplik says, Mama T. Pons probably does know. I'm pretty sure she does. I was being fastidious. Tug says, hello, Nostalgic Pop. Oh, yeah, he's oh, he got the package. Ooh, got the package. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Only says Tucker and Dale versus Evil. You mentioned that before, by the way. How is that? I'm not familiar with that. Tug says, thanks, Danny. I just finished my video for next week. Inner Space. Yes, I have early access to it. Emily says, loving all the love. Oh, Emily, you bring love to our channel. Thank you so much. Pablo says, good. The Unapologetic Geek. Glad the DVD set arrived safely. Enjoy. Oh, David says late December back in 63. Oh, Indy Spouts is here. It says, hey there, Thresh. Indy, So glad you could make it. Emily asks, has anybody seen the new Exorcist? I haven't. Only says, it's a good movie, Pons. Oh, good. I will have to check it out. I will try to check it out. Dominic D said the package came from Colombia. Daryl Johnson is here. He says, Bob, other brother Daryl, how are you doing? Tug says Tucker and Dave versus Evil is great, but then he leaped off, so I'll have to try to catch up. Uh, one of his favorites. Excellent. Gary Carpenter says George Maharis was in the Bionic Woman. See, Danny says, I'm doing the Black Hole movie comic book on Tuesday. Sounds like a blast. Oh, God bless says New Exorcist sucks. Brogu says, good Tucker and Dale versus Evil is great as well. I've got to check this out. I haven't seen it. I've got to check this out. Um, oh, it's on Tubi. Oh, well, Tubi or not Tubi. Let's see. We got a couple more links being dropped here. Emily says, I'm so disappointed. I was jumping off the page. I was hoping to be horrified at Exorcist. Tug says, is that the one where Reagan's mom complains about the patriarchy for some reason? Oh, Tab is here. Says, happy December. I'm here. Tab, so glad you could make it. So glad you could make it. Oh, speaking of watching things, has anybody been watching the new Fargo? I absolutely love the new Fargo. Mrs. Thrash went out and got us um, Hulu, and I'm very glad she did because I can now stream Fargo. I can actually watch all the back issues because I never actually saw the first season, but now I can binge all 5 seasons. I love the 3 seasons that I've watched. And let's just see. Justin says, why are there redoing movies that are timeless classics like Wonka? Really? They think they're going to be better than Gene Wilder and Jack Albertson. I know, but see, that's what it is. It's like people have come to expect. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to modernize and remake these, and it's nothing new. I mean, how many versions of the Three Musketeers are there and whatnot? But yeah, you're right. I think it's getting a little crazy. And let's see. Oh, Dan's giving us more links. Thank you. Pablo says, hard to top the voice of Mercedes as the beast inside Reagan. Yeah, I know, really. I'm sure you guys all heard the story about the time that I terrified um oh, so embarrassed. The girl from the original Exorcist, whose name literally just dropped out of my head. I'm sure 50 of you will write it in the comments below, and I'm gonna feel so embarrassed. But yeah, I was very starstruck at one of my movie conventions for the company I worked at, Suncoast Video, and she was there doing autographs for Anchor Bay, I want to say, and I go, I'm your number one fan, and she's gonna like because this is when all the stalker stories were really coming out of Hollywood. I wasn't stalking her. I was just a fan. But anyway, I startled Reagan from Linda Blair. Thank you. I knew someone would get it before I could even get the words out. Oh, and Tug says, Godzilla -1 today. It's so good. I had no idea it was set entirely in the occupation area post World War II. Love it. I've got to see this movie. There's so much buzz about it. I've got to see it. I just haven't yet. Oh yeah, everybody knew. See that's it. I knew the name Linda Blair too. It just dropped out of my mind because I was put on the spot. I knew all of you would know it, and thank you. Oh, 257 says I'm blah blah. I'm bluffing. Vulcans don't bluff. 257 says I'm buffering too. If that's a problem with you guys, please let me know. Other of you guys, Pablo says, was going to see Godzilla today, but it was sold out. The Tug, but it was a 50-seat theater. Oh, that's a small theater. Duplex says, how many versions of A Star is Born? 3? I want to say three. One, two, three. Oh, Tracy's here. Tracy says hello to a bunch of people. And 1 second, I just want to catch up on some of these comments. Oh, Tug got tickets last week. Justin says, "Do you think it was just the makeup and the effects that made her role iconic? I mean, nothing against her, but I've seen her in other movies with her, and they aren't that great." Um, I don't think it was really about her. I mean, I thought her performance was solid as a possessed girl, but frankly, I think it's the other cast members responding to her possession. We get ourselves caught up in it. It's almost like, the theory that hysteria is contagious. If you're in a crowd and the crowd is calm, you'll stay calm. If you're in a crowd and they become hysterical, you'll become hysterical. I honestly think Exorcist works because we get caught up in the horror of the people we are watching on the screen. We sort of get caught up in their anxiety. If that makes any sense to you guys. Sean says I startled Kevin Smith in a similar way. Thankfully, we knew someone in common who vouched for me. That's good. That's good. And Brogo also says Godzilla was great. Excellent. Excellent. And Denny says, "You scared the chick from The Exorcist, left my blank off. There's a joke in there somewhere. A good, yes. Oh, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's a feather in the cap. I didn't scare like Kira Knightley. I didn't scare like some little waif. I scared the person who was in The Exorcist. Wowzers! I mean, that's an achievement. So yes, I've always put that as a feather in my cap. And then I jumped off the page. You will never turn the page. Let's see. How did I get so far behind? Actually, I'm not. I'm actually further ahead. That's I went too far back. Oh, Tracy says my birthday is in June. Happy birthday, prelated. Oh, by the way, Tracy, I want to empathize with you. You were talking about how unceremonious the people you worked with when you left your last job after being there for 10 years. I have a similar anecdote. You guys know that I had a side hustle at a local hotel right here on Cape Cod, and I was there for a solid 12 years. And the young lady who was the manager actually started right around the same time I did, a little bit before. But when I first started being their overnight guy, she was like being trained as a like a key holder situation, but she was like the new third shift girl. And so I've known her pretty much, well, this whole time, right? Well, on my last day, my last shift, it started a Saturday night, it went to Sunday. I left at 7. She scheduled herself to come in at 8. Now, I didn't expect her to come in with a gold watch or even a gift card to Starbucks, but I thought she'd at least come by and say goodbye to me in person on my last day after knowing her all these years. Nope. Oh, and no, of course, no gift card or ceremonial watch. Um, but that really hurt. That actually really hurt that she didn't come in and say goodbye to me in person. I mean, I understand it's an hour of sleep, but still, somebody that long, you'd make it a point to say goodbye to them in person. Anyway, I just want you to know that I kind of sympathize with how you feel. And Indy Spout says there were four A Star Is Born. But one was TV. I was thinking theatric. I'm not familiar with the TV one, but yes. Dave says Star is Born. Any good depends on which version. Oh, here's one for you. I'm speaking about Mama Thrash a lot tonight. Mama Thrash loved the first one. Huge fan of Babs and had a huge crush on Chris Christopherson. And let's see. If I skipped anybody's comments, please forgive me. Emily Miller says, Dave, have you seen Ryan Reynolds' version, Spirited Away? I have. I own it. I love it. Spirited Away is my favorite Hayao Miyazaki film. And oh, hey, Mrs. Thresh. Oh, Mrs. Thresh just walked into the kitchen, presumably to looks like getting either Kit Kats or crackers, something kind of snack. and she's giving me a face like, "Stop telling people what I'm doing," which sadly is in direct contrast to her wishes. But I will cease at this point. Dave says, "No, is that one Hallmark?" And Daryl says, "From what I've heard, it was the budget for making Godzilla minus one was 15 million. Wowzers, that's um solid. Although that's probably not the most expensive film considering how much some films have been costing lately. But 50 million is impressive." Emily says, "An emotional Godzilla movie sounds meh." Oh, Emily, be nice. I love Godzilla. I should have done Godzilla trivia tonight. Oh, to answer your question, by the way, made for TV miniseries. But you know what? I'm gonna, in respect for minus one, I'm doing Godzilla trivia for next week. Original preferred. Somebody says, "What original A Christmas Carol are you referring to, Dave?" Um, didn't the first one have June Lockhart in it because her dad was playing Cratchit and she played one of the kids? I'm having a bell ringing in my head. Oh, Dave says 1934. Yeah, I think that's the one with June Lockhart. I think. And Gary says, to EM, I just found out that Ryan Reynolds is being in a Fall Guy movie with Lee Majors. Oh, that's the remake we were talking about earlier. And Denny says, I was at the same job at a moving company for 12 years. When I left, they threw me a big party. They were all glad to see me go. You got me there. You got me there. Wait, let's see. You got the party. And Form is content is here. It says, "Hi, Thrash. And all Form is content. It is always so wonderful to see you. Welcome to the party." And Emily Miller says to David, "I think it was Netflix. I don't like Will Ferrell, but that movie was really cute." And Gary Carpenter is speaking again in emojis. And Tracy, I prefer Godzilla over Shark. I prefer Godzilla over Shark too. And Tug says, "I'm gonna ace next week. I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are." Indy Spout says, "Well, chalk it up to trivia win for Tug next week." Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. And Tracy says, "I was just joking. Not about losing your job, I hope." Although it would be nice if you actually did keep it. And Pablo says, "Oh, hi to Tracy." Emily Miller says, "Ryan Reynolds also uh Sabrina's boyfriend in the Sabrina Teenage Witch movie." I did not know that. I did not know that. And Sean says Ryan Gosling is in the new Fall Guy. No, not Ryan. Oh, Ryan Gosling, not Ryan Reynolds. I got it. I'm with you now. I'm with you. And Brogu says Toho made Godzilla for 15 million. You know it's going to make a ton of money at the box office. Hollywood. Are you talking taking notes? Always, I take them in here. Emily says, "Sean, well, now I don't want to see it." Well, snap. And Pablo says, "I'm with you on that one, Emily Miller. Will F is not my cup of tea." You know what the thing is? I love him in interviews. I think he's hysterical. When you see him like at award shows and or guest appearances on TV, he's great. When I have to sit down and watch one of his movies, he wears on me, particularly if he's like the main star. That one where he played a group of like suburban dudes who formed their own fraternity. I kind of liked him in that because it was a supporting role. But when he's like the star of a film, I think I just like him in small doses. Sort of like Paul Lind. Paul Lind, anytime they try to make Paul Lind the star of something, apart from his Halloween special, it didn't work. Gary Cameron says, "Sean, my bad. There's way too many Ryans." Yes, it's a Ryan's hope here. Jenny's giving us more links. Thank you. All Wheels Down says, "Retire as soon as you can, age 62." All Wheels Down, if I live that long, I'll consider it. And welcome to the party, by the way. Justin says, "F Will F." Danny says, "I can't stand Will F. he destroyed Land of the Lost. Can't forgive him for that either. And it's funny because he actually went on the interview circuit and said how much it maintained its loyalty to the source material, and it was worse than I Am Legend, in my opinion. And Emily says that's the best way to describe Farrell. Dominic D says Anchorman was funny. All right, yes, I will grant you. I loved Anchorman. I loved Anchorman. But I think of that almost more of an ensemble cast. Gary Carpenter says, I like George C. Scott version and that it's better than mm, and it's better than all of the other ones except for Muppets and Mr. Magoo. Love Muppets and I love Mr. Magoo. Oh, and by the way, it was so funny. It was so funny. Chance was talking about how I see now what thrash means when the screen jumps. Yeah, the comments go by so fast. You're trying to read them, and all of a sudden, whoop, they go right off the screen. So yeah, it's nice to know that there are that many people who want to make comments to your station, but it's just funny when you're trying to keep up with them all. Oh, and yes, Pod Blast, he really ruined Bewitched. They made a reference to that in Family Guy. Uh, Emily says my other Farrell movie I like is Stranger Than a Fiction. Don't know that one. I liked him in Between Two Ferns. There was a Between Two Ferns feature film, and I thought he was funny in that. Dave says for me, I didn't care Ben Stiller movies. Sorry, I loved his TV show. I loved his short-lived TV show, but his movies tend not to be that good. Tug says Brogu, as I understand it, -1 became the highest grossing Japanese language Godzilla release in the US history in one day. I believe it. Oh, and Sean says it's many Chris's too. And Denny says, LOL, I retired at 46, full disability, two major strokes. Tricky, but that might be my retirement plan. And Gary Kemper says he was terrible in the Land of the Lost movie. Oh, Land of the Lost was an absolute travesty. An absolute travesty. All Wheels Down says, I just watched the new Indiana Jones movie. Not the best one. It's me, Steve. Sad ending thresh. Thank you. Thank you. You know, it's so funny people change their handles a lot, by the way. And Steve, I had a feeling you were I had a feeling All Wheels Down was somebody I knew. I didn't know it's necessarily you, but thank you for letting me know that you are you, you know? And again, welcome as always. 257 says, Gary, it's like the ending of Tropic Thunder. Haven't seen it. Ziplik says Talladega Nights was good too. Haven't seen that as well. Only says Gary, the TV series from 1974 is better. I assume you're talking about Land of the Lost, and yeah, it sure is. And Emily says the only Ben Stiller movie I like are the Night at the Museum movies. Yeah, yeah, those are pretty cool. But again, you're talking ensemble cast. Indy Spout says maybe it's because I didn't get a math degree, but I can't figure out why only about half of content current viewers have hit the like button. I know, come on, guys, we're like way off our game today. I see 11 likes, I see 23 of you. Naughty, naughty, no biscotti. Happy New Year. Sorry, parched. No. Moving forward. Tracy says, I like Meet the Fockers. Yeah, all right, yeah, I'll give you that one. And Gary says, yes, I know that, and I've got some episodes on videotape. And Pablo says, I liked The Cable Guy that Stiller wrote and directed back in 1995 when it was filmed funny, dark comedy. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. John says, problem if they remake Land of the Lost, they will put The Rock as a star. Every movie he is in is The Rock. What I can understand is why they just can't do a faithful adaptation. You know, father, two children in a land with dinosaurs and intelligent saurians from the future. You don't need to tweak it. Just do that. Although I would like to see the crossover made between Land of the Lost and Planet of the Apes. But people keep saying I would have to write it. And I just have a tough time with dialogue. No, my own monologue, maybe, but dialogue, well, someday, maybe someday. Let's just see. Gary Cameron says, Dominic, have you ever seen The Strangest Man in Town with Walter Matthau and Mr. C from Happy Days? Not Tom Post. Tom Bosley. Tom Bosley. I haven't, but it sounds. I like the cast. It says I think the funniest movies belong to the Abrams brothers and David Zucker. Films like Naked Gun and series and Hot Shots. Those are great. The airplane movies, particularly the first one. Yeah, they're very, very, very funny. And Forbes Content says, I did not know until very recently that David Gerald, the Tribbles creator, was responsible for Land of the Lost. I didn't know that until just now. Literally, I did not know that. Thank you. That is an absolutely really cool, fun fact. Uh-oh. Comments froze, and then they jumped, and I think I'm hopelessly lost. Well, I'm just gonna skip down because I don't all right, if I Justin says if I missed anybody's comment, please forgive me. Please repeat in the comments below. Justin says there are actors and there are wrestler actors. You're right. The Rock is always The Rock WWE version. Keith he says math question: Thrash plus Mrs. Thrash plus December 7th equals what? Nearly 30 years of marriage. Keith, that's right. By the way, the anniversary of our first date is actually coming up. Our first date was on December 7th. We went to Chinese food to the nicest Chinese restaurant in town, and then I took her to see Interview with a Vampire because I knew the guys who ran the place at the local theater. So they hey Bob, hey, come on in. Oh, you brought a lady. Oh, hello, miss. Yes, guys, come on in, enjoy yourselves. And I thought I'd impress her with all the people I know. And she goes, "Oh, we saw a movie because it was a cheap date, huh?" Leave it to her. But yes, and we are still together to this day. And from his content says, Tracy, yes, I loved that and can't find it anywhere. Gary says, I finally found 9 to 5 and the original Rear Window on YouTube. I love Rear Window. I took a date to that too, by the way, but it wasn't Mrs. Thresh. Oh, it was in high school, by the way. It wasn't recent. And Texas, pay me enough and I'll write it. Will you take a check? Dave says, I actually Jurassic Park meets Land of the Lost. Ooh. I love that. I love that. And he says, Land of the Lost taught me to never trust a guy in a tunic. You can't put a price on that kind of wisdom. I could not agree with you more. And Emily likes Tropic Thunder. Denny says, I think every movie The Rock made went well, okay, at least. And Steve says, "Do you like gladiator movies?" Is that a direct question or a side question? And I have seen gladiator movies, and I'll leave it at that. Um, I've been into a Turkish prison, Timmy. Oh, Mr. Wilkinson is here. Hey, Christopher, how's it going? He says, "Hey, Bob." And I'm just going to skip down. Pod Blast said something about how 9 to 5 is classic. Yeah, I'm gonna try to catch. Oh yeah. And Dabney Coleman is still alive in his 90s. Wow. Pablo said Dabney Coleman hosted SNL in 1987. Oh, and Emily says, Gary, I need to watch 9 to 5. Haven't seen it in forever. Watched Facts of Life with Bob Hope and Lucy Ball not long ago. I love Bob Hope movies. They're guilty pleasure. I don't know. This book says the wackier and far out a comedy is, the more likely it is to be truly funny. I couldn't agree with you more. And Pablo says, Dabney Coleman, epic character actor. Do you know that he was supposedly going to play Professor Hinckley in Gilligan's Island? Dominic D says, Beaver's mom speaking jive. It doesn't get any better than that. I know, and I love the scene. And it's fun. You have to like pay attention. You know why the black dude gets mad at her? Well, she translates the jive to the stewardess, and the stewardess says, "I'll get the doctor and be back." She translates that, and the black dude he can speak English. He just speaks in jive, but he can understand conversational English. So he's like, my mama didn't raise any fools, woman, and that's why she gets he get she goes, you don't want any help, you're not going to get any help. But it's so funny because that goes over most people's heads. She's either like, why is he being mean to her? No, he's not. She's speaking to him like he's an idiot. And it's surprising how many people still don't I've had to explain that to people. I think just the idea that you would snap at Beaver's mother. That's just something that I think people just aren't emotionally prepared for. Anyway, oh wow, I'm way behind. So I'm gonna like cheat again, and I'm just gonna go. Oh, Dan, the breaking news man is here. It says breaking news: 22 days till Christmas. Isn't that crazy? Oh, and we are 1 month away from 2024. That's the part that is like bluey. So yeah, I'm gonna catch up here. Yeah, and I'm caught up. Again, if I missed anybody, I'm terribly, terribly sorry. Don't take it personal. I just we're after 8, and we have to start the show, the trivia game. Pablo says maybe we dance with your dates. That was the same guy. And Ziplik says, "Oh, I get comedy, but it's a question of taste." Keith he says 8 p.m. Yes, Keith here. He's giving us a hint. Yes, we're actually past the point where I normally start trivia. Let me just catch up here. A lot of people laughing at earlier comments. Tug says, one of my favorite comedies is an obscure title little movie called Making Habits of the Earthbound Humans. It's a nature documentary about humans from an alien point of view, narrated by David Hyde Pierce. Sounds like a blast. Oh, Pablo says new neighbors. Jenny says beware 2024. Okay. Yeah, all right. And Emily says, I'm woke. And your problem 257. 257 says, Emily, bad joke. Dan says, joke, what do you call a small mom? A minimum. Ah, I love it. I love it. And Emily Miller says, Danny every year has a beware date. And 1 year they will be right. Anyway, as I'm more or less caught up, and again, I'm sorry if I skipped anybody's comments, please feel free to repeat them as needed after the game. But I want to start the game now before we get too far behind because we're actually well past 8 at this point. So again, it's going to be made for TV miniseries, and as always, I'm going to recite them in no particular order. Number 10. This perennial entertainer made a brief appearance. It oh no. Oh, those were last week's. Sorry. All right. Number 10. This Frank Herbert this Frank Herbert adaptation was the follow-up to Dune. A. Dune Messiah. B. Children of Dune. C. Heretics of Dune. Or D. Brigadoon. And you know what? Even if you're not familiar with it, you should still be able to catch it just because, well, you're Frank Herbert. But I shall repeat. This Frank Herbert adaptation was the follow up to Dune. A. Dune Messiah. B. Children of Dune. C. Heretics of Dune. Or D. Brigadoon. Just see. David says played out on PC. Pardon. I think I'm getting Mrs. Thrash's chest cold. Oh, Dan has another good one. Dune buggy. Wonderbug. Emily says, "Did you really say Brigadoon?" Yeah, I decided to give you guys some cute, funny throwaway answers. Perhaps not in every question that'll get old, but periodically. Um, wow, Indy, this is the first for you. Actually, if we're referring to the Sci-Fi Channel miniseries, which I was, they don't go to Dune Messiah as one would have thought. It was Children of Dune. Yes, Children of Dune was the follow-up to Dune in the sci-fi miniseries. Moving on to number 9. Ooh, this secret agent-based miniseries is based on a historic figure who was supposedly a template for James Bond. Was it A. Riley Ace of Spies, B. Smiley's People, C. Doctor Who, or D. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy? And Indy says, "Then why did you say I could figure it out?" It's called a red herring. Sorry. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. And I think it's just because the way they were like listed in my school's library. It was Dune, Children of Dune, and Dune Messiah. So for years growing up, I thought it was Dune, Children of Dune, and Dune Messiah. Um, when in fact, come to find out, it's Dune, Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune. If you thought that that was a little disreputable of me and unsavory and sneaky, give yourself credit, or at least throw that one out. But anyway, let me repeat this question. This secret agent based miniseries is based on an historical figure who was supposedly a template for James Bond. Was it A. Riley Ace of Spies, B. Smiley's People, C. Doctor Who, or D. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy? And wowzers! Okay, did everybody say Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy? Well, at least a lot of you did. Actually, the correct answer is A. Riley Ace of Spies. Here's the connection. In Riley Ace of Spies, one of his best friends is a uh, attaché to the British embassies, guy by the name of Robbie Lockhart Sr. Robbie Lockhart Jr. would later go on to become friends with Ian Fleming and told Ian about the exploits of his father's friend. So, yes, the correct answer is A. But if any of you have any evidence that can prove that Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy was somehow an inspiration to Ian Fleming's James Bond, I'd be willing to listen to it. So, so you said Doctor Who. Oh, and John says not the spy who shagged me. Anyway, question 8. This iconic TV miniseries based on the iconic, or more iconic. And I'm going to go with iconicer. I like it better. Novel by Stephen King features Mr. King in a small role. Was it A, The Mist, B, The Stand, C, Tommy Knockers, or D, It? I shall repeat. This iconic miniseries, based on the iconicer novel by Stephen King, features Mr. King in a small role. A, The Mist, B, The Stand, C, Tommy Knockers, or D, It? Dave goes, psst. Oh, just no idea, Justin? Oh, John H is here and says B. Hey, John, glad you could make it. And you know what? It looks like those of you who did know a lot of you did know the answer. Yes, it's The Stand. He plays one of the Colorado border guards towards the end of the show. Question 7. Another sci-fi one. This sci-fi miniseries is actually derived from a politically intense social commentary work. Was it A, Day of the Triffids, B, The Martian Chronicles, C, V, or D, Tripods? I shall repeat. This miniseries was actually derived from a politically intense, uh, oh, I'm sorry, a politically intense cautionary work. A politically intense cautionary work. Was it A, Day of the Triffids, B, The Martian Chronicles, C, V, or D, Tripods? And John, V for visitors. No, V for victory. That's V. Oh, and I'm that's not. All right, you know what? Yes, fine. You're right. It was V. But I was just letting you know I was getting your reference as well. But yeah, V was the series. It's actually based on the 1935 Sinclair Lewis work. It Can't Happen Here, which was a cautionary tale about fascists taking over the United States. I'm not going to say a gosh darn word, but anyway, yes, it was. They actually back in the 80s they were going to make it um, as a direct adaptation, and everyone's going like, "No, no, 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 no cautionary tales here." So they took a page from the Rod Serling playbook and said, "We'll just turn it into a sci-fi." They were right in the crest of like the Star Wars franchise and whatnot, so they decided to make it into a sci-fi miniseries, and I thought it worked. But anyway, moving forward, question 6, and then we'll get scores. Question 6: Which John Jakes Kent family chronicle was not adapted into a TV film? A. The Bastard. B. The Rebels. C. The Seekers. Or D. The Furies? I shall repeat. Which John Jakes Kent family chronicle was not adapted into a TV film? A. The Bastard. B. The Rebels. C. The Seekers. And D. The Furies? Tug says those are definitely some words you put together. It was the John Jakes American Saga. um, and a lot of people guessing C. Oh, I do see the right answer. Gonna get it in a moment. Apparently, I'm the only one who watched these. They were so raunchy for 70s television too. There was a lot of sex and violence. Ooh, but I got to watch them because they were historic period pieces. Although I got in trouble for asking my mother, "Can I see The Bastard?" And she goes, "Robbie, don't say that word." And I go, "Well, that's kind of what it's called, isn't it?" And she's like, "Well, I guess so." But yeah. Dave says F the troop. F is for troop. Or F is for troop. Or and okay, Gary says tomorrow is Max Bear's birthday. He'll be 96, 86. He'll be something with a six. And he's the only cast member of Beverly Hills left. Wow, that's crazy. Form is content. Thank you, Geek D. Or is that just a happy face? But the ironic is the answer to the question was in fact D, the Furies. Yeah, it was. They had the Bastard, the Rebels, and the Seekers, and there were about another 8 books left. But for some reason, I don't know if it was planned to only do the first three or if they ran out of budget. But they never picked up with the Furies. So hey, how about some scores, gang? How about some scores? Let's see what we got going on. Danny says my brain hurts now. 257 says what is the Rollerball movie? The 1975 version. Oh, that's a movie. Oh, Formless Content says I think I'm 3 for 5. Tug is 2 for 5. John H is 3 of 5. I think we'll go for it. Zublik says 2 for 4 because I didn't hear the answer to number 4. Oh, number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The answer to 4. V. C for V. Cool. Let's just see. Day says, Philadelphia meets the House of Wax. Oh for 5. Oh well, still. Oh, Indy Spouts. Oh for 1. Oh, are you boycotting the game because of my shenanigans? Oh, please don't boycott the game, Indy. Please. Justin says, I've only got 2. Oh, Dan says 0 for 0. Only is 1 for 5. John H says, I didn't hear the answer for number 6. The answer for number 6 was the Furies, D. I really think I should have gone with Godzilla this week. I'm sorry. I thought people like watch more miniseries. Is Emily is 2 for 5. John H says, sorry, I didn't hear 7. Uh, C for V, the miniseries V. Dominic D is 2 for 5. Sean is 1 for 5. Gerald Johnson is 3 for 5. Zublex is 2 for 5. Then John H is 3 for 5. Trace is 1 for 5. John is 2 for 5. And Gary is 4 for 5. And Denny says, I just watched some old House of Wax movie this morning on a series or a streaming service. Okay, picking up number 5. This miniseries, set in the Civil War, revolves around the stories of the Grazers and Hall family. Grazer, I hope I get that right. The Grazer and Hall families. A, North and South. B, Blue and Gray, the Blue and the Gray. C, Love and War. Or D, The Civil War. I shall repeat. I think I must have to. This miniseries, set in the Civil War, revolves around the stories of the Geyser and Hall families. A, North and South. B, The Blue and the Gray. C, Love and War. Or D, The Civil War. Emily says, the what? The miniseries set in the Civil War revolves around the stories of the Grazers and Hall families. Oh, wow, can you hear that? Rain's really coming down now. Well, I see somebody got the right answer. Said a lot of you saying A, and you know I'm just going to keep you on suspenders. No, North and South. It's the it's 2 other families. That's the one with Patrick Swayze in it. No, the Blue and the Gray, which has Stacy Keach. Number 4. This prolific author wrote the novel on which Shogun was based. A, John Jakes. B, Alex Haley. C, James Clavell. Or D, Herman Wouk. Oh, and I must confess, I think the reason I decided to do miniseries is because I was watching Hulu, and apparently they have, speaking of modern adaptations, they have a new adaptation of Shogun coming out, and I am euphoric. Shogun is one of my favorite miniseries of all time. But anyway, I shall repeat the question. This prolific author wrote the novel on which Shogun was based. A, John Jakes. B, Alex Haley. C, James Clavell. Or D, Herman Wouk. And most of you got this one right. Oh, John says 3 for 6, just like the Bills. Emily says, still, so she said, still the North and the South. It is still the North and the South, I'll give you that. Justin Hull says, Shogun's Heroes. Oh, I love it. Indy says, he sells for 50 cents a pound at the Springfield Library. He sells for 50 cents a pound at the Spring. Oh, his books? They sell his books at 50 cents a pound? When we said Springfield Library, I thought it was a Simpsons joke, and I'm not entirely certain that it's not. But in any event, the correct answer is C, James Clavell. And Indy, please explain the reference because I think I'm close, but I don't think I've quite gotten it. And he says it was a Simpsons joke. Oh, see, I did know it was a Simpsons joke. I'm not familiar with the context. I don't recall the specific episode, but when you said Springfield Library, I assumed it was the Simpsons. Oh, and speaking of James Clavell, in addition to Shogun, James Clavell wrote this World War II prison camp based drama. Was it A, King Rat, B, The Mouse King, C, Ben and his army of rats, or D, Whitey Bulger? Because he was a rat, a big, fat, dirty rat. And yes, this one was a complete lark. This one was a joke, but I'm sure some of you will still get it and it will count. So I shall repeat it. In addition to Shogun, Mr. Clavell also wrote this World War II prison camp based drama. Was it A, King Rat, B, Mouse King, C, Ben and his army of rats, or D, Whitey Bulger? Let's see how many people decide to go ironic on this one. Emily. Just listen to the choices. King Rat, the Mouse King, which is from the Nutcracker, Ben and his Army of Rats, which is from the movie Ben and his Army of Rats, the sequel to Willard, and D. Whitey Bulger's not even a movie. He was a Boston gangster who was also a big, fat, dirty rat. So, all right, I've pretty much given the game away. So, Emily, this is my throwaway joke uh, question. As I've given the game away on that one, it is actually A, King Rat. There was a film adaptation with George Segal, I want to say, from like 1964, which is pretty darn good. At one point, King Rat, I believe, was my father, Dada Pops's uh, uh, favorite novel. Question two. And speaking of prison camps, once I get on a prison camp kick, I gotta keep going. This outstanding World War II miniseries centers around a group of women trying to survive in a Japanese POW camp. Was it A, Tenko, B, King Rat, C, The Winds of War, or D, War and Remembrance? I shall repeat. This outstanding World War II miniseries centers around a group of women trying to survive in Japanese POW camp. A, Tenko, B, King Rat, C, Winds of War, or D, War and Remembrance? I'm seeing a few of the correct answers here. And Lou says, I think we watched totally different miniseries. Well, there were a lot of them. Anyway, the correct answer on that one is Tenko, which, oddly enough, you guys remember my friend who was around for a while, his mom loved it. They used to show it in the afternoons on a local TV station in the Cape area. And she like fell in love. Yeah, Tenko, which was the Japanese word for trying to think of what it would translate to. Not line up, but assembly. Like when you have like a morning roll call, you would say take out, and everyone would have to show up and be counted and accounted for. Number one, the number one question for this one is, according to TV Guide, according to TV Guide, what was the best miniseries of all time? A. Jesus of Nazareth, B. Roots, C. Centennial, or D. Rich Man Poor Man? And I shall repeat. According to TV Guide, what was the best miniseries of all time? A. Jesus of Nazareth, B. Roots, C. Centennial, or D. Rich Man Poor Man? Ooh. Oh, Wajimeen, when did you get here? Hey, Wajimeen, great to see you. I gotta say, well, I want everyone else to like kick in. Oh, Danny says E. My choice, Salem's Lot. I love Salem's Lot. I did. I love Salem's Lot. Ted says, I'm dubious. And it's Emily for the win. Yes, and I gotta agree with you guys. I gotta agree with you. Roots was absolutely amazing. I absolutely adore Roots. I've seen it several times over the years. But according to TV Guide's, I guess they did a whole thing on miniseries, and this was from the 11th to the 17th of April episode 1987. TV Guide says the best miniseries of all time was Jesus of Nazareth. So it was A. So let's get some scores. And I can't wait for Godzilla next week. I'm sorry, guys. I know. I thought this would be more fun, and I'm sorry. And I thought my little shenanigans might add another layer to it. I apologize if it did not. Try digging up Thrash. And the scores. I'm just chatting over the scores. Zerblex is 5 for 10. Tug is agreed. Danny. Emily says TV Guide is lying. Emily, you got that one right. Indy Spouts is 0 for 1. Again, Indy, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Still friends. Keith E is 2 out of 10. John H is 6 of 10, I think. Watchamine is 0 for 10. He was like watching in fullness, just sort of like joining us, but not really taking part. That's fine. 257 is 1 for 5. Form Content is 5 for 10. Tug is 4 for 10. Tracy is 2 for 10. John H is 1 for 10. On Godzilla if he's lucky. Johnny says, "Way to go, Emily! I missed that and on Sunday." Ted was 5 for 5. Emily was 3 for 10. Daryl Johnson is 6 for 10. Gary Carpenter says C. And Denny says this stream has many layers. It certainly does. And I'm under all of them. And Pod Bless says, have a great week, everyone. Oh, Pod Bless, you taking off? Dude, have a great one. Be seeing you. And by the way, a 5-hour live chat. I don't know how you do it. John is 4 for 10. Owen, he is leaving later, and later to you too. Brogu's 1 for 10. I gave up halfway through. That's okay, man. Indy Spout says the sequel to Ben is Willard, by the way, Thrash. Hold on. Give me a second. The sequel to Ben is Willard? I thought Willard was the first one. And then Ben survives the Ratastrophe and goes off and has a second adventure. So I thought it was Willard was the first movie and Ben was the second. Are you saying all these years I've had them backwards? It was Ben and then Willard? Huh. Indy's says the sequel to Ben is Willard, by the way, Thresh. I will never go against what you say, so I will accept that. But I've had them backwards this whole time. Thank you. Mind blown, blue. And it says worse than Tokyo after the war. Ouch! Even for you, that's harsh. And Night Brother, night to you too. Emily says she jumped off the page. Hang on. I originally said Roots, but your reaction to the answer made me ironically say the other one. Talk about remaking the same story over and over and over and over. Oh, I see. So you did say Roots. Now I see why you reverse yourself. Johnny says, I need to drop off now. Thanks, Thrash. John, thank you so much for coming by tonight. Been a pleasure as always. A couple other people dropping off. If you have to take off, more than understand. It was great seeing all of you. WD says I think Willard came out first. Because Ernest Borgnine, the whole thing was the crazy kid trains the rats to get revenge upon him, but then he decides at the end to kill the rats off. But Ben survives, and then has his own adventure. I haven't seen the movies probably since I was in college. I think I need to watch them again. but I will defer. Uh, Johnny says Ben was a sequel to Willard, and let's just see what else we got going on here. Oh, Pablo says it's the drugs, caffeine. Oh, and he says you are correct. I typed it wrong. Indeed, no worries, no worries. Like I say, I've been wrong before, so thank you though. I appreciate that. Uh, and Daryl says no Willard then Ben, and uh, Justin says which one has McFly? That was actually a remake made. Ooh, I want to say the early 2000s. The original Willard and then Ben, I want to say were made in like 1970, 71, around that time. Oh, and by the way, little kind of a sad anecdote, as I'm sure many, if not all of you know, Michael Jackson wrote the theme song to the movie Ben. It's that song, Ben da 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 da, Ben da 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 da. And a lot of people know the song but don't even know it's from this movie. But regardless, apparently when approached to do the song, it actually meant something to him personally. When he was very, very young, his father didn't permit them to have pets. They were very, very poor, and what money they did have, the father spent on turning them into music icons. The story goes that Michael had adopted a rat which had snuck into the house and was feeding it and caring for it, and came to think of it as his pet. And the father found it and killed it. And Michael was never the same after that. And I won't say something snide like that explains a lot, but let's just say that it was a very sad story and poignant, which is why he had a personal connection when doing the theme song to the movie. And simply says Willard died in the movie. I know. He uses the rats to get revenge on all of his enemies, and then he betrays the rats, and the rats end up taking him down. But I don't know, Meshuggah. Oh, Teb just said something and he jumped off the page. I'm gonna have to. Oh, my flock is everywhere. Is here, Sarah. Oh my God, Sarah, so awesome to see you. Jenny, please give a link to Sarah. Sarah, I love the Naked Gun stuff you've been putting up on YouTube. By the way, that stuff is absolutely great. Teb says, "Do you remember the ill-fated sitcom Good Morning Miss Bliss?" starring Haley Mills, which was eventually retooled into Saved by the Bell. I remember it. I didn't watch it. I was in college at the time, not watching a lot of TV, and I think it ran against something else I watched. But I have vague recollections of it. Yes. And Daryl Jones says Ben is a 1972 American horror film directed by Phil Carlson and starring Lee Montgomery, Joseph Campanella, and Arthur O'Connell. It is a sequel to the film Willard. It also has there's somebody else in it whose name eludes me. Again, I haven't seen this movie in forever. I have to see it again. Emily says, Teb, I actually saw that when they did the Saved by the Bell marathon a few years ago. Yeah, that I remember. And Gary Carpenter says the only thing I like with rats is Super Friends, Day of the Rats, Batman, Robin, and Black Vulcan. Forbes Content says Ben eventually calmed down and shown in the next sequel to Gentlemen. Only greatly it evolved in size, huh? Wow, can you imagine bear-sized rats? You know, what'd be cool though is rat-sized bears have little teeny tiny bears. Keep little bears as pets. That'd be cool. Little pet bears. I don't know. And we just jumped again, but here we go. Zublik says Ben lost to "There's Got to Be a Morning After." In the Oscar ceremony, that song was in The Poseidon Adventure, which also starred Ernest Borgnine. And I'll be honest with you, the morning that there's gonna be morning after. I love that song. It's a guilty pleasure. Usually I don't like songs that cloying, but I do like that song. Texas just fell into a Google rabbit hole. Both Willard and Ben are based on a book by Ratman's Notebooks, but the chronologically of the events isn't the same. Ben, the movie, is a sequel to Willard, though. Cool. Sarah says, hi, my sweet brother. Thank you. Thank you. Formless Content says, Zuper talk about two songs that really don't fit their movies. LOL. Well, to an extent. Um, Cindy Diescher says hello to Emily and to a lot of other people. She mentions an American Tale. Do you know that I believe Art Spiegelman tried to sue American Tale because even though it's not set in the World War II, it is remarkably similar to his anthropomorphic hierarchy in Mouse. There's one for you. Oh, and Teb says R.I.P. Henry Kissinger. Yes, thank you. Oh, and of course, Cindy D, welcome to the party. We're going to be wrapping up in a few minutes, but so glad you could make it. 257 says The Wiz movie. I love the movie The Wiz, only please don't think I'm weird. My favorite song in the entire movie is Don't Nobody Bring Me No Bad News. I love that song, but it's sung by the Evil Witch. So it's sort of like I feel as though I missed the whole point of the movie in saying that. Ooh, Tug says Rats Night of Terror, best ending ever. Oh, come on. I saw it coming. But yes, I have that movie buried somewhere in my garage. And every now and then I get this yen to watch it, and I'll go on this like quest for rats. And I can never find it. Cindy says three recent politician deaths: Rosalind Carter, Henry Kissinger, and Sandra Day O'Connor. Indy Spout says, take it easy, Thrash. I will do that thing. I will try to take it easy. Keithy says, Poseidon Adventure is the New Year's Eve movie. Oh, yes, yes, it is. It does take place on New Year's Eve, doesn't it? Zubik says, and they were all very elderly, said DD. Dominic D says, I like The Wiz. Not great, but worth seeing. Gary Gerber says, they were nearly 100. They certainly were. Tug says, I didn't say it was unexpected. It's just great. Fair enough. Fair enough. And Sadidi says, yes, just thought it was interesting. It is very interesting. Very kind of a week of heavy casualties. 257 says, Pawns children often. Oh, Pawns Children of the Stones creepy theme song. I'll have to check it out. Oh, my flock has given us a link. Thank you. Zubik says, only in a movie does a woman like Stella Stevens is married to her sport. And Keith says, pre-guessing Raymond Burr has an answer for next Sunday. If I do King of Monsters, I'll probably do the Japanese version. Although I'm gonna probably try to stick to the American versions. I'll be honest with you, because they're the ones I grew up with. Um, but yeah, and there's probably a few of them are things that I've already talked about in other points. And Cindy says Marty, great movie. Oh yes, Ernest Borgnine as well. And Dennis Gaten says, "You take it easy, pawns." Hitting my cigar, laughing and saying, laughing little, saying, "I'll take it any way I can get it." Thank you, Danny. Lance Chavin says, just saying good night. Everyone have a good week ahead, guys. You as well, by the way. Again, prelated happy birthday. And I will see you next Sunday when we talk about Westerns. Zipple says, do you know what? I enjoy the Raymond Burr version as much as the original version. There's nothing wrong with the American version or the Japanese version. I think I just prefer the Japanese version better. A lot of people said goodnight to Lance. Uh, Trey says goodnight to all who are leaving. That covers all the bases. Gary Cameron says, I finally found Charlotte's Web with Debbie Reynolds and Paul Lynde and Agnes Moorehead. I love that movie. I saw it in the theaters when I was a kid. Oh, I just sang happy birthday to Lance as well. And Gary Cameron says, hey, remember he was hatched. He was. I forget. Keithy says, Retro Nerd Girl is going to show the original Godzilla movie this Saturday on her preview. Oh, that is so awesome. And Formus Content is here, says, I cried so hard after Charlotte's Web ended. I remember, yeah, I remember my cousin. My cousin was sobbing at the end. And Tug says, there's a case to be made for that Godzilla would have never become a uh, bona fide franchise without Raymond version. No, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. I'm not saying it wasn't indispensable, but it's okay to prefer one over the other. And a lot of people saying hi to happy birthday to Lance. And at this point, I think we should actually consider starting to wrap up. We're getting towards the hour and a half mark. If there's any other things you guys would like to read into the record, please do. I was gonna say we never really get around to talking about wrapping up the 2023, but that's okay. I'm gonna be doing this theme for the month, so we'll have plenty more time to wrap things up. And Emily says for and the I'm sorry, Fox and the Hound was more heartwarming than Sharp's Web, in her opinion. And Sarah says, "LOL, pawns." And Cindy says, "Godzilla Matthew Broderick, LOL." My favorite part of the Matthew Broderick version is actually the Jean Reno. I love the Jean Reno character as the French sort of cleanup crew. And the scene where they set up the little command post in the hotel room, and they send the guy out for breakfast, and he comes back, and he's like, "No poisson," and then he takes a sip of the coffee, and he spits it out, and he's like, "What is this?" And the guy called it French roast, or they chew gum to look more American. Yeah, I thought John Renault stole the whole movie. Let's say thanks for the wishes. Oh, Tab is saying good night. John is saying read Tug's book. I'm reading it now. I'm so ashamed. I still haven't read it. By the way, I will. I promise I will. I promise I will. The book says next time 86 the trivia T-Pons. You know, if you guys want to skip the trivia, sometimes that's okay with me. I mean, if you guys really don't like the trivia, let me know. I mean, I like putting it's work for me. I don't mind doing it, but if you think the trivia is becoming a bit of a snag, feel free to say something. I'll just see. Oh, John likes the trivia. I think opinions are divided. What I should try to do, I should try. I think I should try to do more. I don't know. Perhaps it's the choice of topics. What I should do is remember we tried this a couple months ago. Do you remember? I said you guys submit the topics to me, and I will do what you guys suggest. Problem is, I wasn't getting a lot of topics, and I used up the ones that you guys gave me. But we will keep this on the back burner for no. Just too many casualties, T-Pawns. Oh, a lot of people saying good night, and good night to you guys all as well. So anyway, Keithy says I want Danny Staten to do the trivia, and in any event, guys, I want to thank you guys again for coming by tonight, and I want to thank you for putting up with me and my trivia and my shenanigans and my funny stories, and I want to thank you guys for giving me plenty of material to work with. You guys are great. You guys are so interactive. Again, I apologize if I can't get to all your comments. I apologize. Um, you guys are so interactive that sometimes it's tough for me to get through them all. I try to always get the ones where it's just like you guys talking to each other, but I'm sure I miss a lot of them that are actually directed straight towards me, and I do apologize for that. But anyway, again, I wasn't able to put up some. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to start doing posts on the new Fargo TV series. I didn't get much feedback when I asked about Fargo before, but I've fallen in love with it, and I highly recommend you guys check it out too. The new season of Fargo. Don't worry if you haven't seen the original series; they're all microcosmic. They're all separate adventures. You don't have to see one to go into the other. But I'm going to try to get some new material out this week, and we're definitely going to still have live chat next Sunday. And again, the topic is going to be early, old, original Godzilla movies. But anyway, until then, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.